we doing this right now?
Yeah, we're doing it now. I don't
Nice.
think there's much more that could go wrong besides the giant spider and Bella licking Rick's underwear.
This podcast.
It's already a disaster.
Yeah.
Welcome to Salt Talk, where every flavor has a story. My name's Alexandra, and this is Erin. Now let's have an open fire conversation. All good ideas come from a dive bar. Okay, so let's talk about how we came up with the name Salt Talk and Iron and Oak.
ChatGPT.
Wrong. Bourbon.
And
Bourbon is our go-to when we cannot figure out anything to do or any plans. We go to bourbon, and then we'll sit on the couch, or we'll go to a dive bar that has good pizza, and we'll sit and write out ideas. And that is so far where every single one of our ideas have came from.
We usually write down on a napkin, don't we?
We do write it down on a napkin.
All great ideas start on a napkin.
But with Iron and Oak, we legally had to put catering at the end of it. Even though we don't really do catering, we offer more experiences with that. It's one of the things we wanted to talk about too, about how the marketing, at least in the tri-state area for that, has been tough. So we've had to kind of tailor it to the clientele that we're doing. So now with our experiences, we do an hour and a half of charcuterie and hors d'oeuvres. And then the next hour is we dismantle an entire hog in front of you. And we also do a prime rib, lamb legs, kind of whatever the client wants. One time, because it's mainly always just me and Erin all the time for these big parties. Like, we are in over our head a lot of the times when we say yes to things. Mm-hmm. And then we usually just pay my brother in beer and ramen to come and help us out. But the one time he wasn't around because he had to work. And Erin literally was like, dude, I'll pay you $500 if you drive 3 states over.
It was Connecticut.
It was Connecticut.
So it was like an hour and a half.
Wasn't bad. But he's like, to come help load the car. And he did.
I drove there, unloaded the car, set up, cooked all day, all night, cleaned up. I got all the way to the point where I had to load the truck. And at that point, I was shot. I was done. And I think I texted Luke maybe a few hours prior to us being done.
Yeah.
And I said, bro, I'll give you $500. You come, drive an hour and a half, and just help me load up the car. Mm-hmm. And he did.
Erin, how did we get into this? Like, what was our first experience, or your first experience with open fire?
It was down in Texas. We got invited to where? Seguin?
Yeah, Seguin.
We got invited to Seguin, Texas. With Joey.
Yeah.
And that's where I had my first taste of open fire. After that, Joey came up to New York. He went to go do Brisket King. He asked us to help out. And then there was just a snowball effect from there. Yeah. It was just event after event. And the next one was Dallas Stadium.
Dallas, yeah, Q Barbecue Fest.
A year later, yeah.
So we were VIP pitmasters at Q Barbecue Fest. Erin swore to this day that he was never. So I was actually on Next Level Chef at that point, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be eliminated or not. So I just said shrimp and broccoli. Like, you can't mess shrimp and broccoli up. Erin can do that by himself. And ironically, I was eliminated literally 2 days before Q Barbecue Fest. So I flew home, literally packed.
She wanted to get eliminated to make it.
I did, kind of.
Yeah.
I hopped on a plane, did Q Barbecue Fest, and poor Erin got stuck cooking broccoli and shrimp for about 6,000 people for 2 days.
I will never make broccoli ever again.
And everyone kept coming up to him and was like, man, I've never had a vegetable. This is the best broccoli I've ever had. And
yeah, there was a lot of people in Texas that never had broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Erin's like, this is the last time I'm ever making broccoli.
Yeah, well, I remember the one guy said this is the best broccoli he's ever had. I said, no, wait, he didn't say that. He said, this is the first time that I've ever had broccoli.
Yeah.
And I said, good, because it's the last time that I'm cooking it.
Okay, so here is a fun one. What is so important when cooking open fire? Like, to me, I think that the quality of meat and the type of salt that you use is so important. And you're not drowning your meat in, some sort of sweet sauce. And the wood that you use is tailored to which. That's actually episode 2, talking about the different types of wood that you can use cooking in open fire. So for you, what have you noticed is the most important thing cooking open fire, and why?
The heat, I would say. Because fire is very harsh. and you have to be able to control that. If not, then you're just going to ruin a good piece of meat. Doesn't matter how good your piece of meat is. If that fire is blazing hot,
Yeah,
and you're just going to destroy it if you cook it way too fast and way too hot.
that's true because you want the fat to render down.
Yeah.
You want the entire
Patience.
process
One of the big things with open fire cooking is patience. You got to have patience, a lot of it.
and heat distribution too. You want to
Heat
be able to
distribution, yes.
control your heat.
And don't get it twisted. Like charcoal grill, I don't think that can consider live fire.
No, I don't think charcoal because you're not
It has to be flames
not
of some
even
sort.
not even flame. So traditionally, it's cooked with embers. Aaron does have a good point. Like if you're just throwing charcoal briquettes onto a Weber
Weber calling
grill,
it live fire.
it's not live fire. I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, I mean,
But live fire, I think, is a special way of cooking.
it is a special way of cooking. I think it's slowly catching on, and I think there's in the future there's gonna be a huge market for it.
Which is so funny because it's been around for since humans were first humans
They got
and
away from it. I
yeah.
mean, you look at smoking meat. Like smoking meat was very big and popular. Got away from it, and
Yeah.
it made a comeback.
Which is so funny because we're so intimidated by smoking meat, but we love cooking open fire. Like there's just something about it too, and especially cooking for other people. Like when we bring the experience to Connecticut or we bring it to New York or we bring it, anywhere that we've been recently, like just seeing people's faces when they see a whole animal is not something that, people normally see anymore, at least in New Jersey. It's more common in Texas, and especially with like Al Fragoni, who kind of taught us almost everything that we know
Yeah,
live fire wise.
Al's doing it right.
Yeah.
Al's got the whole experience down.
Yeah, he has it down to a
Yeah.
T. And like I said earlier, like at least in the tri-state area, it's a little bit more difficult with the marketing. So we've kind of had to tailor it more to adding charcuterie and adding something that's familiar to people. So I wrote down a list of rapid fire questions for each other. And I'm going to start off with, what is your favorite cut of meat and why?
Prime rib,
Why?
because I love the fat content that's in it.
Why else?
Why else?
Yeah.
It's fun to cook.
How do you like to cook the prime rib?
How do I like to cook it? I
Yeah.
do it open fire. I think that's the best way.
Well, explain how you do it open fire.
I do the whole whatever poundage that you get, 8 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, whatever it is, the whole piece of it, and cook it 2.5 hours, fat cap down. Rotate it every 30 minutes, 35 minutes, quarter turn until you get the full rotation. Check the temp, and it's usually about 125, 127. You pull it
Why do you take it off at that temp?
because it's going to rise when you let it rest.
Do you cover it when you let it rest?
I do cover it
And why do you cover it?
to keep the heat in.
Okay.
Why are you testing me here?
Because people don't know, so you
Yeah,
have to
okay.
explain, go into a little bit more in depth as to why you do something instead of just saying, "Ooh, I like fat, I like meat." Like, all right, Luke.
All right. So, what's your favorite cut of meat and why?
My favorite cut is the hanger.
Hanger steak.
Hanger steak because it is so underrated. Like it is. So there's only one hanger steak in the entire cow, and it's right in the diaphragm. And the hanger steak, when cooked right, is honestly better, in my opinion, than the prime rib. Because it's so tender and it's so juicy and it's so delicious, especially when it's done right. And especially when it's cooked open fire and slow, like how we do it. Except that you only need about 2 hours because it is a smaller cut. Anyway, what is your favorite event that we have done so far together?
Like competition or just
No,
like
just-
events
just
that
in
we were
general.
like paid for too?
No, anything. Just in both. Any private events we've done, any Texas events that we've done, anything in your opinion, what is your favorite event that we have done? Like favorite memories, favorite experiences.
Oh man,
Dun dun dun.
I have a few.
All right, what's
I do have
your
a few.
top?
I liked the Brio event with Al. It was fun for me because I got to cook with Al, and that was the first time cooking with Al.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. We did 4 lambs and I think 6 hogs that day.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And it was close to home.
Yeah,
We stayed in a haunted Airbnb.
we did. Another one? Oh my God, we've done so many. I have to say one of Rachel's parties.
Yeah.
I would say the Rachel's in Greenwich,
Yeah. So we did a housewarming party
because
for,
that's the way it should be. Because
yeah.
that's like elevating open fire, and one Rachel can throw a fucking party.
Yeah, she can. She can throw
Yeah.
an awesome party. So well, it's actually my friend's client, but we do parties for her sometimes. And we did an open fire experience for her housewarming party. And it was just awesome. We literally had everything from smoked salmon, we had whole hog, we had lamb legs. And that was the first time where a 45-pound hog was not enough to feed everyone because
When
people kept coming back for
When I tell
seconds
you
and
that
thirds.
everything went,
Yeah,
bones, fat, skin,
everything.
all of
And
it.
normally what we try to do, and like actually learned this from our friend Joey, is we learn to always bring extra. Like you don't want to be the person that doesn't have enough food. So sometimes I go overboard, but we have it ingrained in us to just always bring extra. And that's what we did. And that's what we do for every party. So the fact that everything went, and it was truly amazing because a lot of people have, again, never seen things cooked in that way. So they were coming up to us and having a great time,
It's
which
a
I think is,
showpiece.
yeah,
It's
which
a
is the most
showpiece.
important, is that you're giving people an experience while they're eating food that you wouldn't typically get at a normal steakhouse.
It's fun.
It
It's
is
a lot of
fun.
fun.
Okay, so well, yeah, that was also one of my favorite events this year that we've done. For me, I think China with Vaughn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get to experience China. I
That
wasn't
was
invited. Thanks,
you
Mom.
were invited, you just didn't want to take off of work.
I couldn't get off of work.
Fair.
I don't think I could get off for 3 weeks,
So I
even though I've been off for 6.
I know. I saved up all my comp time and I took off for 3 weeks. I went to China and then Vaughn and I went to Taiwan and competed in a cooking competition, which I placed third in. And then we went on a whole tour of Taiwan and it was so much fun. The food was amazing, people were amazing. And I think my favorite memory from that trip was singing Country Road Take Me Home with an entire bar doing karaoke. That was a blast.
Didn't it continue into the bus?
It did. It continued into the bus. Like it was time for everyone to go, and then everyone continued to bring karaoke onto the bus until we got back to the hotel that we were staying at. So, what was something you made that was a great idea in your head but didn't come out good? Do you want me to go first?
You go first. Let me
Okay.
think about it.
So in my head, I was trying to make a rub, and I was like, okay, I want this vanilla coffee bourbon chili rub. Like it sounded like such a good idea in my head, and then when I actually made it, it came out awful. I burned the coffee. The rub tasted horrible. Like I couldn't get it right. I was adding garlic. I added chili. I added everything you could possibly think. Brown sugar to try to make it taste better. And then when I cooked it, it just came out awful. So that was something that came out good in my head that did not in real life. So it was a wasted, I mean, I still ate the meat, but it was a wasted piece of meat.
I think it's a dessert for me.
Yeah.
I think because I'm not a baker, and I saw a recipe. It was cookies. It was like cookies, marshmallows, and it was a bunch of shit just mixed up that almost like stacked together on a sheet tray and baked. And I tried to make it, and it came out like shit. And the video make it look so easy. I think
Yeah.
you were away. You were away. You don't know, you were on your fucking adventure somewhere. China or somewhere. I think I had one bite and I just threw the entire tray in the garbage.
no.
They were trash.
Okay.
So I don't bake.
I don't bake either. So, what is your go-to dish when you want to impress someone? Like if someone's like, "Hey, make me dinner." Whether it's open fire in the kitchen, whatever.
I'm going with steak.
Yeah?
I'm going with steak.
And potatoes, like what you need a side dish here.
No, I don't do side dishes. I do main courses.
All right. I would say my red wine braised short ribs. I haven't made those in a long time.
good.
But if like someone was coming over or we were having guests over, I think I would make that because it's easy to do. It's a simple recipe. There's not much that goes into it, but it always comes out so good.
Oh, I did make a beef Wellington when you were gone. That came
You
out.
did? Oh my
That
God.
came out so good.
And I was so
I wish
upset.
I knew how to edit in video because that came out amazing.
I was so upset. He sent me a photo and it looked amazing. Like Gordon Ramsay would have been impressed. Like, it was a perfect golden brown on the outside. The steak was a perfect, for you, medium, but the steak was perfectly pink on the inside, and it
I
looked
even did a little designs too.
looked so good. I was so upset that I didn't get to try it.
That was very good.
But
I can make it again.
yeah, do you have
Yeah.
any rapid fire questions?
I can definitely make it again. When's your next trip?
That's not nice. Do you have any rapid fire questions?
What's one thing that you've learned this year that you're going to take into next year?
Oh my God, I've learned so much. That's such a hard question. I think just to keep, I'm not going to say listen to you more, but I think just to keep,
So wait, repeat that.
absolutely not.
Repeat it.
I think just to keep pushing
It's on
myself,
camera.
keep pushing myself. Like, I've said this multiple times, but, I think, well, at least my motto this year has been be delusional and just shoot for things that are completely you think are unreachable, and soon enough, they will be. What do you
Go
think?
big.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I think just keep pushing yourself, because the more you push yourself, the more opportunities that come. And like what we've learned too, and one of our friends has even told us this before too, like, you're not going to monetize off everything. And we've learned that, but sometimes it's worth not monetizing off of it because of the people that you meet and the experiences that you get
You can't
just
put
from
a price on connections and
Oh my God.
networking and just, future opportunities just from maybe not monetizing
yeah.
that you might get. That's priceless.
Well, and honestly, too, like, even so, the last week we did World Food Championships in Indianapolis, and our friends were all sitting around a bonfire, like, right before we went home. And it's moments like those that, you can't pay for moments like those. And there's just something about laughing with your friends, meeting new friends, and just sitting around a fire, being able to laugh
And we
and
don't really get much of those.
Yeah.
So when they do happen, you gotta take it in the
appreciate
moment,
it.
appreciate the moment, and take it all in, because we don't get to be
yeah,
able to sit around the bonfire like that and especially with those guys too, because we don't see them often.
yeah.
What do you think is more important, learning technique or learning recipes?
I think learning technique is the most important, because without technique, what do you have? Like, I'm still learning so much, and I try to take as much as I can from everyone that I surround myself with and learn from everyone I can. What do
Yeah,
you think?
no, I agree. I think technique. I think learning technique open up a door for so many different recipes,
Yeah.
and to be able to just expand on those recipes.
Well, and even too, like, I just posted a jalapeno. It was a recipe where I had leftover jalapenos, leftover cranberries, and a whole bunch of other things. And, I took techniques and I took flavors, and I was like, okay, these are the flavors that I can mend together. And I think it's important, because then you can take it when you have leftovers and you can make a new meal out of it. Flavor Bible.
I got to start reading that.
You do.
I
I
do.
love the Flavor Bible. Like, when I'm stuck on something, I'm like, okay, what can go with this? I'll go through the Flavor Bible and be like, oh, I have this spice, or oh, I'll run to the farmer's market and get this herb, and play around with something that I, have maybe never played around with before, or just completely start mixing flavors together in hopes that it comes out good.
I have to start reading the Flavor Bible more.
You should start
Yeah.
reading the Flavor Bible, because Aaron's just like steak, meat, fire.
Yeah, I can do steak
Done.
really well. Just put me next to a fire and I'll cook whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No, but
my
you're really
go-to.
talented. You grew up in the restaurant industry, so
I
you can
did.
sling a pizza pretty well.
No, it's been a while. If you don't use it, you lose it.
I saw you whipping pizza around a couple months
It
ago in
takes
the
me
air.
it takes me a few pizzas to get going, but the first couple don't really come out that good.
Okay, so
Muscle
now,
memory.
if you had the option to all day make pizza or make steak, what would you do?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll make pizzas. I'll just put the steak on the pizza.
But then you have to pick one or the other. Either
Oh.
make pizza or make steak.
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 Yeah, it's a lot of carbs for the pizza.
Would you rather be outside or would you rather be inside in the pizzeria again?
I do like the kitchen.
Yeah.
I have fun in the kitchen. I do.
What do you like about the kitchen?
I like the rush.
What else?
I like the rush. I like the teamwork that goes into serving a dinner, or wherever you're at, whether you're at a restaurant, whether you're at a deli where I worked, or a catering hall, and everyone working together for for the end goal, cooking good food. And you can't take anything personally in a kitchen, and you just, I don't know, it's just something about the kitchen. I love the rush.
Yeah.
Even when I was at the bakery, it was so busy, and I could handle it really well.
Yeah.
The rush, that's one thing I do miss. Being able to take like 7, 8, 9 orders in my head at once and just bang them out.
Well, we have a couple parties coming up
I
that
do. Just don't bump into me because
are
I'll
a
just
little-
forget everything.
we have some parties coming up that are going to be fun and a nice little rush if we can't find people to help us with.
You need to find people.
I know. I think it'll be worth it though.
Now, let's start off with where we are right now.
We are in your mom's basement
Where?
in Wisconsin, in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
In Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's right. We're fucking crammed behind the bar.
Where did this bar come from?
I have no clue.
So Aaron's
Probably
stepdad,
one that went out of business.
yeah, Aaron's stepdad said that he got this bar from somewhere that was closing. He got the bar from a bar that was closing and put it in his basement. So that's what we're sitting at right now.
And it's Wisconsin, so it's one that he probably sat at when he was a child.
Yeah, probably. I don't
Yeah.
think we could say that.
Why?
I don't think it's appropriate to.
Why?
Because not all children from Wisconsin sit at bars.
Back in like the 80s, yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
Not now.
Okay, so here is something that I think a lot of people don't know with us being in Wisconsin is what is a Wisconsin old fashioned and how is it different from an old fashioned that you would get back in New York?
The price.
Well, minus the price.
Wisconsin, you can get it pressed, sweet, or sour.
What is that?
I don't know.
Well,
A waitress asked me that, and I looked at her like, would she have
So-
10 heads?
apparently you can add Sprite or cherry soda or both
Sprite, cherry soda, or half and half. I don't know.
to the old fashioned. Whereas in where we are, it's just straight bourbon bitters and some orange.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
adding maple syrup to my old fashions. I
That too.
think maple syrup or
But
hickory syrup.
the Sprite is a nice touch.
I don't like soda.
Well, you
So
don't
you're
have to
on your
drink
own
it.
with that one.
good.
What other fun Wisconsin things have we done so far?
I ate too many cheese curds.
Did you know when we first came here last year, I didn't know that cheese curds squeaked.
Yes, the fresher the cheese,
Yeah. I was like,
the more
oh,
they squeak.
what is that in my mouth?
hmm I go, that's fresh cheese,
Yeah,
girl.
it was actually really good. Reynard's Cheese in Wisconsin has amazing cheese and dips. What did we just find? A summer sausage that was
Pelkins.
Pelkins, summer sausage.
Pelkins. I think it's Pelkins.
And it was like pineapple. What the hell was it?
It was a barbecue pineapple summer sausage.
It was so good.
Yeah, we have to get more.
We do have to get more. So we've actually bounced around a lot this month. We drove to Wisconsin from New Jersey,
hmm
and then we drove to Indianapolis for like 4 days.
4 days.
Drove back to Wisconsin, and then now we are going to LA
We're
for the
flying
weekend.
out to LA for
Yeah.
the weekend. Then we're flying back to Green Bay
And then driving home.
and then driving home. And then back to our routine at
Yeah.
home.
But I think it was a nice change of pace. I think it was a nice break for a little while.
It was. I don't really consider it a vacation because we were just go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go, go. Like, what do you consider a vacation?
What do I consider a vacation? I don't know. I've never actually been on like a real vacation before.
Huh. Like a
even
beach? Like, do you like, when you go on vacation, do you want to,
I
like, are you the ones that, like, you want to sleep in, you want to get up, you want to explore,
wanna
you want to
eat.
travel, or you just want to, like, roll out of bed and go sit on the beach for 8 hours?
want to eat and drink wine.
On
So,
a
like,
beach?
No. I want to go
In a closet?
play with penguins in Patagonia.
That could be fun.
Like I want to go drink wine and play with penguins in Patagonia.
But you know, you're lucky you would get, like, they would attack you.
Probably, but at least I would still be able to have fun with
They
the
would
penguins.
drag you, like, deep down into the Antarctic.
I know, but they're so cute.
Yeah.
I'm like, come here. You're gonna bring you home to Bella.
She would try and take a penguin.
I would try to take them home.
She would try to
and
take a
make them my friends. But I feel like that would be fun. I definitely want to try to go to Argentina this year,
Yeah,
Go to
that's
Argentina.
on the list.
and then go to Patagonia and play with penguins.
You know, it's not like That's not like a quick little jump from Argentina to like, well, especially where we want to go in
Yeah.
Argentina, more on the
I mean, now there was
northern part.
going to Hong Kong and then Taiwan. That
No.
wasn't really like a quick jump either. That was like a whole day. Literally a whole day's worth of travel.
How long was that flight?
The flight there was 16 hours.
No, the flight from Hong Kong to Taiwan.
Only like 2 hours.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. The entire trip as a whole was totally worth it.
See, we have to do something for us. Like we do.
Like what? What do you want to do? I know
I
we
don't know.
constantly do things for other
We
people. We
constantly do
never
things for other people,
do anything for ourselves.
or for the business, or try to
Yeah.
get connections and try to work on things. And sometimes you got to pump the brakes. And I'm not saying for weeks on end, but a couple days or here or there or weekends
Okay, so
or one day.
where do you want to go?
Argentina. So Argentina's on the list, and
Yeah.
also like I want to be able to sit on the beach and suntan like a lizard.
You want to start peeling?
I do.
You want to shed
See,
your
I don't peel though.
You want to shed your skin?
I don't
Then
peel.
why like a lizard?
it
That
just
was a
gets dark.
terrible analogy.
Because that's all they do is they sit in the sun.
Oh, it's true. Like a chameleon, like
Iguana.
an iguana. You're gonna sit like an iguana, and then they're gonna put you in a big green egg, and Mel's gonna eat you.
What do you call it? The chicken, the chicken of the tree.
Chicken of the tree.
Chicken of the tree.
It did taste like salty chicken.
No, I stayed away from that. I didn't eat that shit.
Aaron's not very adventurous with
No.
his food.
No, it's 2024.
He won't eat seafood. He won't. But it's funny. He always gets stuck cooking seafood, but he
I
won't
do
eat
always
it.
get
And then
cooked.
everyone compliments him on how he cooks seafood, but he refuses to eat it.
I don't know because I don't try it as I cook.
But it's good. It comes out
I just
really
get
good.
lucky.
Like that salmon. He made salmon over open fire. So this was a complete accident. He made salmon
That always comes out the best.
over. We were at a party, and last minute the client wanted salmon. So bought a whole bunch of salmon, bought some bronzino. Like it was great. And we had the lamb legs on, we took them off, and then we were like, oh my god, we forgot about the salmon. So we seasoned the salmon up, put it on the top rack. So it wasn't getting a lot of heat, but it was getting enough where it would still like slowly cook. So we didn't have to keep going and paying attention to it. And then like an hour later, I was like, is the salmon still on the fire?
I forgot about it. I paid attention to it for like the first maybe like 15 minutes or so. But then after that, I was just too busy because that was like the last thing that we were cooking.
Yeah.
So I think I was just too busy trying to like organize and clean up. And at this time, it was like 9 o'clock at night. So I just wanted to get the hell out of there.
It came out so good. And I don't like smoked salmon, but whatever you did to that salmon was delicious.
You want to know what I did to it?
Forgot about it.
Forgot about it.
Sometimes
And
I
I just let it
come out
go.
the best.
So I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just
Just
gonna
forgetting
start,
about things.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like put the meat over the fire, and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
leave.
Well, what was
I'll
it?
come
You
back
like
a
so
couple
like
hours later.
we really don't smoke meat. Like we're not very good at it. It's a completely different science than it is cooking open
is.
fire. And so Aaron for our birthdays wanted to try a brisket. And he started telling people that it was a roast because he ended up cooking it too long.
No, I didn't
he's
cook
like,
it too long.
Here, try my roast.
No. Oh yes, I did cook it too long. Yes, yeah, I did. It actually came out good if I'd actually paid attention to it. I tried to use my forget it method, and I did forget it.
Yeah, but at like 4 in the morning, it then like rose way
I
too
started.
high.
I started it at the wrong time. I think I started it at like 1 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and my ass was not staying up. I said, "Fuck it, I'll get it in the morning."
So this
I just
day,
let it go.
we actually like we threw a birthday party for ourselves. And we ended up cooking for like 150 people. And I was under the impression that my brother was going to come and he normally eats
10
for
people
like
showed
10
up.
people. I mean, we invited like what, 15?
No,
Like,
I think we probably invited only 10 people.
yeah, we invited. Yeah, it was a very small party to begin with. It was literally like our only friends.
It was at your parents' backyard. It was supposed to be something small.
Yeah.
But this one here wanted to cook for 100 people.
Well, we set up the tents. We set up like the entire experience. We had our videographer come and film it. Like we made it look like it was a whole experience for literally 10 people and my family. But I had fun.
You had fun?
Yeah, I had fun.
You slaved away on your birthday.
I know. I enjoy cooking. It
Oh,
was
well, good.
nice.
Good.
I did.
Are you going to ask me if I had fun?
Did you have fun?
Eh. It was fun.
I like cooking for other people, so I don't mind being the one doing all of the
I
cooking.
think I'm getting bougie because I like to set up and cook. I just don't like to clean and break down.
Well, that's the worst part.
That's the worst part.
It was a lot to clean, but it was a lot of fun. Now my dad wants us to do the prime rib open fire for Christmas Eve because he like did
That was his
not.
first time having it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did not understand the concept, and he's like, "No, I'll just do it in the oven." And I'm like, "No, I don't think you're understanding the flavor difference in this."
And you know what's crazy? Like I've only maybe like tried it like once.
But you do such a good job on it, but you're so hard on yourself with it.
I don't eat when I cook.
I don't either. Well, actually, our shrimp tacos, whenever we do those, I always sneak one to the side for myself because they always come out so good.
Have you ever worked in a kitchen?
I've never worked in a kitchen. I have not. I, yeah, I've never worked in a kitchen. My mom always cooked growing up, but if you ask her what's in something, she'll just be like, "Oh, I don't know,
A
this."
pinch of this and a pinch of
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
I don't want to say I taught myself because I watched her, but when it came down to like playing around with things, I did kind of teach myself. And then you were actually the one that told me to start posting on social media. And then what I would do is like every Friday, I would take all the leftovers we had in the fridge and I would make a dish from that. So I think that helped me start to get more creative in the kitchen. And then a lot of friends too. Like I have some amazing friends that went to culinary school that I learned from them. I learned technique from them, and I kind of just watch and learn from everyone that I can.
Do you remember that one time you made me chicken parm when you asked me?
So when we first started dating, he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I'll take chicken parm." So I was like, "Okay, great." Now the food store was literally what, like 500 feet from the apartment. So I sprinted to the food store. I bought all the ingredients for fresh pasta, chicken parm, you name it. I came back and in 45 minutes, I don't know how I did it. I made chicken parm.
It was not 45
It was
minutes.
45
No,
minutes.
it was not 45
Maybe it
minutes.
was like an hour and 20.
No, it was a little longer than
It
that.
was
She made
I made pasta from
she
scratch.
made everything from scratch other than the fucking chicken.
Well, other than the cheese and the chicken. But I made
You sure you didn't just roll your own cheese?
I
Fucking
wanted
boil
to.
mozzarella on the stove?
I made everything from scratch. And at that point, Aaron was like, we were like, what, like 2 months into dating? And I'm like, here you go, here's your chicken parm. And he was like, oh,
I was like, I could have just ordered this from the downstairs pizzeria.
I mean, you could just say thank you.
Thank you.
There was a pizzeria
It was
downstairs.
it was like 3 hours later.
1.5. So, thank you for tuning in to our very first podcast of Salt Talk, and tune into next week where we discuss different tips, tricks, and honestly the importance of what wood to use when cooking open fire. So, I hope you join us next week, and we're going to have a lot more to discuss.